Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who that? Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Really do appreciate it. Well, Who Dat Nation, man, we're down to our final day in the month of 2025, man. New Year's Eve is tomorrow if you're watching this live. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Before we get started, I do want to acknowledge the fine folks that came over to the NFC South Roundtable. Checked out that episode. A lot of fun to do. Shouts out to Bro Talk. Shouts out to Kobe. Shouts out to Clay. Shouts out to James, man, who wasn't there tonight. Had somebody to fill in for him, but shouts out to my guy James, man, missed him tonight, but we had a good show, and thank you all for chiming in, coming over, and talking a little bit of NFC South football. But we're here now to talk about the New Orleans Saints, and the New Orleans Saints have a big time Week 18 matchup, regardless to what is on the line. We know that sometimes bragging rights could be an incentive in a game like this. The Saints taking on the Atlanta Falcons, and this is going to be a tough game for the Saints, as we've seen the Atlanta Falcons on Monday night, able to take down an NFC juggernaut in the Los Angeles Rams. But we know that in these division games, everybody knows everybody, and it's going to be a very, very tough game for both parties. And looking at the New Orleans Saints over the last couple of days, in the last couple of weeks, I just got to say, I'm just been very impressed with the team. It's definitely a breath of fresh air to actually see the New Orleans Saints really starting to turn things around. And it has a lot to do with Tyler Shough being a quarterback, of course, but there's a lot of guys that are stepping up, that are making plays and being there and being a reliable target for Tyler Shough. Defensively, the Saints have been stepping up and making plays, and hopefully they can finish the season strong. Shouts out to everybody in the chat right now. We're going to just go ahead and read some comments, and then we're going to go ahead and roll up out of here, man. That's just how we're going to do it on this episode. But do appreciate you. If you are new to the channel, I ask that you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Just want the channel to grow, man. Just want everybody to hit that subscribe button if you have not already. If you check out the show, please do so. All right. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. Not going to waste any time. Says, I smell enough said Falcon fans are delusional. I don't know, man. I mean, coming off a victory like that, and the way their team is structured, I can understand why they feel like they could get the sweep. I mean, I'm not going to even try to discredit them on that. Now, I will say this: like in these type of games, they don't really live up to those expectations, and that has been the issue with this team. But I can understand why they're excited. The Saints better come to play if they're going to be able to knock off these guys, though. What's happening, TJ? You be representing on that round table. Slim, I appreciate that, man. Look, I try to be as objective as I possibly can, all the while, like just providing perspective about the Saints. I don't want to be one of those people that they're just so delusional to the fact where I can't see the imperfections of the football team, but all the while, so much of a homer that I'm just out there just bashing the other teams. And, I don't want to be that. I try to provide perspective, in a process of, in a process of like just providing insight. So I try to do my best, man, to try to represent the New Orleans Saints, but also just try to do my best covering the NFC South. And I appreciate you, Slim. Thank you for your support. The best podcast show of 2025. Can't wait to see what 2026 has for you, TJ. Jamal, I appreciate that, man. Look, I'm just trying to grow as a show. And, as we approach 2026, definitely want to add some more things. You're going to see more like probably pre-recorded, edited shows, kind of going back to the original format. And then you're also going to just see some other programming as well, man. So I'm going to be like talking about like several other things as we kind of wind down the regular season. I'm going to have something for everybody. We're going to get back to doing a state of the NFL. We're going to get back to doing the wrestling podcast that we have on deck. And we're also going to be covering the Saints. So I'm going to have something for everybody. And I'm trying to think about a creative way to just have a general podcast just talking about life and different type of situations like that where we have people that just come in. So big things we're trying to do in 2026, but most importantly, we're trying to expand this show. And we're going to do that, man. We're going to try to bring it to you. That's why, if people don't know, man, we travel here, right? We go to, especially around this time of the year during the off season, we go to the NFL Combine, or we go to the Senior Bowl. So I know sometimes, people see, a podcast and they just see you in a room, but man, we get out here, we get active, man. And we take a lot of pride in this show. So stick with me, man. I'll be out there. I'll be out there in Mobile. And, if everything goes right, I'll be in Indianapolis, giving you all the NFL Combine like I did last year. Objectively, is definitely an appreciated trait. Make the podcaster more likable for sure. Yeah, objectivity. Yeah, exactly. Objectivity, being objective. Like, I don't want to get into all this, man. But like, y'all know how it goes, man. Like, I just answer the questions, and based on what you all put here, y'all dictate the show. But I don't want to be one of those people that's like this super shock jock, And I take a lot of offense to people that just feel like I just be saying stuff just to say it. Or, like I just throw it out there. Like I don't have to be a shock jock. And I'm saying this as humble as possible. Like I don't have to be a shock jock. Like I watch hours upon hours of football, like and not just the Saints. But when I do try to give my opinion, I try to provide insight, and sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. But it's never to a point where I'm just trying to just throw something out there and hope that it sticks. And I think that probably one of the main reasons, I don't think I have caught on as much as others, because I'm just not trying to be that type of person. Like I try to be as entertaining as possible. I try to provide like information as much as possible, but I'm not trying to be a shock jock. They got too many of those out there. And I just feel bad for a lot of these podcasters that feel like they have to take on that type of identity in order for them to generate success. But I feel like the best podcasters are the ones that are unapologetically themselves. So that's what I try to be. Dirty Birds fans are not going to sweep on our team on Sunday afternoon. TJ Tyler Show going to do it again at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Dirty Birds fans keep choking all the time. Look, man, I just want to see the Saints go out there and play well, man. I definitely don't want to see them get swept. Shouts out to Josh. Josh says, "Oh, G." Yeah, man. Shouts out to you, Josh. Thank you for being here, man. Like I said, man, we'll be back doing another. We definitely will be during the state of NFL. We'll be kicking that off this week as we get ready for Wild Card Weekend. So if you haven't subscribed to that channel, please do. And it's going to be youtube.com. Search State of the NFL. TJ, who do you think will represent the NFC this year? Who do I think is going to represent the NFC? Man, it's out of the Seahawks and the Eagles. It's out of those two teams. I don't think the Rams are going to make it. I don't think the 49ers are going to make it. Even though the 49ers are playing some impressive football. Man, Kyle Shanahan's a hell of a coach. He just got to win the Super Bowl. some of the adverse situations that he has gone through. Like they beat the Chicago Bears. They didn't have Trent Williams, their star left tackle, in that game on Sunday. Christian McCaffrey was in and out of the lineup throughout the year. George Kittle then playing the game versus the Chicago Bears. Fred Warner, he's out for the season. Like they have all, I mean, you got Nick Bosa. I mean, they don't even have a pass rush for the most part because they're missing guys. But I don't know, man. It just seemed like every time Kyle Shanahan gets to the show, he chokes. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks, man. Plus, on top of that, man, I hope that my boy Rashid Shaheed okay, because it would be great to see Rashid Shaheed return a punt in the Super Bowl, man. Try to get that, you know what I'm saying, try to break that record right there, man. So, yeah, man, I'm going to say the Seahawks. I don't have anything against Seattle. I don't. I like cheering for teams that are like, blue-collar people. Like, man, Seattle just, I mean, you don't never really hear nothing bad about a Seattle Seahawks fan. Like, every Seattle Seahawks fan I ever come in contact with, they love their team, but at the same time, they can talk football with you and be objective about their football team. And plus, it's a nice place to visit, man, for everybody that talks about it. So I would like to, I wouldn't mind seeing the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. TJ, rumor has it Moore is trading you to the Titans for another podcast, and now you got to act like you rep the Titans. Look, man, I don't think that's going to happen. Like, unless, but, as a broadcaster, as a person that works in media, I don't know where my life, may take me. If opportunity presents itself, look, man, I got to be able to take care of my family and be able to do the things that I love to do. I love talking Saints football, no doubt about that. But I want to be able to have opportunities. I don't want to put myself in a box. And, you want to be able to grow. And this is how this show started. Like, if I would have just stayed recording on my iPhone 10 on my iPhone, doing voice memos, and then, adding slideshows, I mean, we wouldn't have grown as a show. So, I don't know what life would take me, man, but, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere as of right now, unless like a great opportunity presents itself. Then, I got to think about my family and my future for that. Just got back from Atlanta. They look good this week. Will be a good game. We got this. Yeah, I mean, I think they got it, man. Good game to go to, man. Good game to go to if you're a Saints fan out there in Atlanta. I mean, if I felt like traveling, I probably would hit the road for that one. TJ, if Eric McCoy can get and stay healthy, can he be as good as Max Unger? Piano, he to me, he's one of the best, if not the best center in football when he's healthy. Like, Eric McCoy's issue has nothing to do with production and how good he is as an offensive lineman, as a center at all. It's just the fact that he has not been healthy over the last couple of years. And, and if he can stay healthy, the Saints are on the right track. They're on the right track. But it's just the fact that he has been hurt. But yeah, I mean, look, I think that he's just as good. I think he's just as good as Max Unger was for the Saints. Now, Max Unger was Max Unger was a completely different beast, but he still provides the same type of, presence and impact as Max Unger did for the New Orleans Saints. So I like Eric McCoy. I just think that he needs to stay healthy. About to beat them folks. As a Saints fan, it's about the right time, right situation. Sam Darnold's career started slow. Now his career is on fire now. Yeah, I mean, look, and I'm glad you said that, Slim. And I want look, I'm gonna talk Saints football, but I'm also going to talk about the NFL in general. And you make an interesting point that was brought up by Troy Aikman on last night during the post game. And he talked about some of the things that I have alluded to on this podcast for many years. And that is, a lot of times we look at these quarterbacks, we look at these players, and they come out and they're not as impactful as we anticipate them being in the infancy of their career. And then all of a sudden, like we just label them as a bust. Oh, he trash. Oh, he can't play. Why did they sign him? Why did they draft him? Right? And we don't give these guys the opportunity to be able to live up to their full potential. But I say this all the time. You got teams like the Jets. You got teams like the Browns. You got teams like the Raiders. No offense, Josh. the thing about it is these teams are terrible, and they have constantly been terrible for years. And yet, when you draft these players, they go to these organizations, you anoint them as the savior, right? But in history, it has shown us that these organizations are terrible. They are absolutely terrible. They can't win. They don't go to the postseason, and they change coaches like you change your draws. And we never pay attention to that. It's always the player. It's always, oh man, this guy isn't living up to his potential. It's such and such a bust. I'm like, look, that is one of the main reasons why it is absolutely laughable. It is absolutely laughable, Who Dat Nation and sports fans, for anybody to jump out of the window when somebody gets drafted by a team. You don't know what that player is going to be. That's something I promise you I will never do. We have had draft shows where I'm like, who is this? Who is that? But I will always open the door like, man, he might end up being pretty good. But I question the pick. You should never just jump out the window and just be like, oh, man, I don't know what they doing with this, man. He ain't going to be nothing. You don't know what a player is going to be. Doesn't matter what school they come from. Doesn't matter what situation. Like, you don't know. But you also have to understand that these organizations fail these players, which leads me back to Sam Darnold. When he was drafted by the Jets, we know that the Jets are a train wreck, have been a train wreck for years. For years. It's where quarterbacks go to die. It's where players go to die. It's where morale goes to die. But we never seem to have these type of conversations because players are supposed to be so good, they're supposed to rise above their situation. But talent can only take you so far. You got to be able to have the right person to get the talent, the maximum talent out of you. And maybe even a talent that you don't even possess at that particular point. Sam Darnold was able to move around the National Football League, align with some really damn good coordinators from Kyle Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell, and now, he's over there with Clint Kubiak. He's over there with him with the Seattle Seahawks. So we're actually seeing when you put a guy in the right situation, you align him with the right coordinator that understands him, that will burn the midnight oil to put this guy in the best position to succeed. He can live up. She can live up to their true potential. It is what it is, man. And these organizations are failing these guys. So it's good to see. It is absolutely good to see that a guy like Sam Darnold is living up to potential and basically changing the narrative about himself. Also, Baker Mayfield. I know Tampa is struggling, but Baker Mayfield resurrect his career, right? You got to align yourself with the right people sometimes, man, because sometimes talent alone is not going to get you where you need to be. You got to be able to have the right personnel around you, and you got to be able to have the right leadership around you as well. TJ, I just want them to build around our young stars that we got on this team. Gregory, I think they're on the cusp of doing this, and and that just kind of just leads me to my next point here. And I kind of talked about this on Bleacher Report on the Saints short that I put out. If you are not on Bleacher Report, download the app, select the New Orleans Saints. You'll see my daily content about the New Orleans Saints. We're going to wrap that up for the 2025 season, but I'm still going to be doing those, and that's going to be available right here on this channel. So be on the lookout for that. But it leads me to my next topic, which talks about the Saints front office. I think that's a good segue there. When we talk about the Saints front office improving this team. And, we don't want to have this conversation. I know some of us, we're still skeptical about it, but we got to give credit what credit is due. Mickey Loomis and the front office of the New Orleans Saints did a good job in 2025. And it kind of started towards the tail end of last season when they made that trade with the Commanders, with the Marshawn Lattimore trade, and you had John Ridgway coming along. Like, They have done a really good job in the front office. And I seen some comments, people talking about, oh, well, look, they should do better. Mickey Loomis brought this guy in, brought that guy in. Look, if the Saints was sitting up here looking trash, Tyler Shough didn't work out, draft picks were looking atrocious, guess what? We will be sitting up here talking about they need to get rid of Mickey Loomis, and we didn't care who they brought in. So I'm not going to just sit up here and just discredit the guy because, he brought some guys in. The fact is he felt he needed to do that. So they did a good job, man. The Devon Vele trade looks like that was a very promising trade. Drafting Tyler Shough in the second round. The draft class seemed like, it's trending in the right direction. You got several New Orleans Saints rookies that are on the all-rookie team. Calvin Banks, Tyler Shough, Yernis Senga, Quincy Riley. So they're trending in the right direction. And this is the best thing about this whole situation with these young players and these young, inexperienced players going to slowly become your core players. This is the best thing. You are getting production at the most important position in the game that will attract guys to your football team. Tyler Shough playing as well as he is right now is going to attract free agents. It is going to attract guys on the defensive side of the football as well as the offensive side of the football. Because at the end of the day, guys want to win, and they want to go to an organization that will put them in a position to win. It's like when Drew Brees, and I'm not comparing Tyler Shough to Drew Brees, do not get it twisted. But when Drew Brees was the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, he was an elite quarterback. He was an all-pro quarterback, Super Bowl MVP. So if a guy who is a free agent at the wide receiver position, why wouldn't you want to come to the New Orleans Saints? Because they got an elite quarterback. You have a guy in Tyler Shough that will be going into his second year that can be extremely, appealing to a free agent that can go out here that may be looking for a team. And there's one guy that I'm going to be looking at and how his contract situation is going to pan out, and that's Breece Hall. Having Breece Hall come to the New Orleans Saints as a running back, if the Saints decide not to go with a Jeremiah Love in the first round, they decide to get somebody like Breece Hall, that will be a breath of fresh air for the Saints offense. So it does wonders for your organization when you have a quarterback that guys feel like can put them in a position to win. It attracts free agents, and I just think that you won't have so many guys that will, pass up the opportunity to come play for the Saints. Like Noah Fant, like he wasn't even interested in the Saints, right? Like you got other players that the Saints, looked at, brought in, probably ate the beignets, probably, ate the etouffee and said, thank you, God bless, good night. Had no intentions on signing with the team. So right now, you actually got some players that make the Saints appetizing. Right now, right now you got a team that, you could probably put some pieces around Shough, get that defense right, get some 3-4 type defensive players that Brandon Staley can add to the team, little speed on the outside and the perimeter, and man, you might end up being a damn good football team in 2026. All right, so let's see. Sam Darnold definitely shook back last year. The Raiders are 15-1 right now, and I guess in a alternative universe, there. Yo, TJ, what are your thoughts about the team? Or the new look on the 2026 schedule with primetime and NFC and AFC rivalries and Sunday night football, Thursday night, Monday night, and a trip to France is going to be a real bigger schedule like that. Well, look, I think when you have a appealing roster, when you have a guy with some promise, you're going to get some primetime games. I guarantee you the Saints will get some primetime games in 2026. I guarantee you. The way that Tyler Shough is playing in his rookie season, it is going to give the Saints some primetime games, because not only are local media talking about Tyler Shough, national media is talking about Tyler Shough. I was watching Scott Van Pelt on ESPN. They have the Hemi Awards. They had Tyler Shough up there with Drake May and Matthew Stafford. This is the type of stuff that people are saying about Tyler Shough. Now, you got to play the game. And I'm also interested to see what his second year is going to look like. And, there are no secrets anymore, right? Everybody knows where the bodies are buried. Everybody knows how to attack you because they have enough on film to be able to attack you the way that they want to. So you got to be able to adjust as well, which Tyler Shough has. I mentioned on the NFC South Roundtable, I talked about Tyler Shough. Tyler Shough, can you believe this? Tyler Shough against the blitz completes passes at a 76% completion rate. If you blitz Tyler Shough, he's completing passes 76% of the time. That kind of stuff right there as a rookie is absolutely amazing. Tyler Shough is changing the narrative of how the NFL is going to approach guys that come into the league late. Not only him, but Bo Nix as well. These two, like, we know that the NFL is a copycat league. What was the biggest knock on Tyler Shough? Oh, he's going to be 26 years old at the start of the season, right? That was the narrative. Bo Nix, what was he, 25, 26? Starting for the Denver Broncos in his rookie year. He has been to the playoffs every single year since he has been in the league. All I'm saying is people are going to start looking at those guys. Maybe those journeyman quarterbacks who probably bounced around a little bit, probably played a lot of college football, probably seen a lot of defensive schemes. They're going to be paying attention to individuals like that because of Tyler Shough and Bo Nix. So, you know, and then on top of that, for some of my younger listeners out there, understand this. 26 years old, being a starter in your first season is not, you know, is not like something that's new. Growing up when I was young, you didn't have rookie quarterbacks that were starting 20, 21 years old. That was unheard of. You would get a young quarterback, you would draft him maybe in the first round or something, and you had this dude sitting out here 3-4 years. He will actually be starting around 25, 26 years old. So when people are like, oh man, you know, like, oh man, he old. Well, look, think about this. You rather have a guy who you just thrust out there at 20, 21 years old, young, inexperienced, like probably played a handful of college football games, and you just throw him out there and he's not ready because he hasn't seen everything. And he goes out there, gets sacked here, interception there, you know, getting tweet about here, tweet about there, kill his confidence, and his career is over by the age of 24 years old. When you possibly could have, you know, set this guy on a bench, or he could have developed and he could have been a quarterback that you wanted him to be. So, look, man, I don't think it's a bad thing. And then you also have to think about the rules that are set in place in the National Football League. Like, you can't go at a quarterback's legs. You can barely touch him. You know, you can't put body weight on him. Think about all of these rules that are beneficial to the quarterback position. Tyler Shough can play till he like in his 40s. Like if he take care of himself, he doesn't take unnecessary punishment. Tyler Shough, if he continues to play well and live up to expectations that are set upon him right now, he can play like for a very long time. So how old is 26 really? Seriously, how old is 26 really when you have all of these rules that are set in place and, you know, guys can play for a long period of time? You still can have a double-digit career in the National Football League starting at the age of 26 years old. So I never understood that narrative, you know, and it just seemed like something that people just wanted to make a big deal out of. But the NFL is a quarterback driven league, and you know they trying to protect those quarterbacks. Part of Dennis Allen's problem was he has a good defensive mind, but he ain't got a clue on the offensive side of the ball. Well, you know, that's the reason why you get coordinators, though. That's the reason why, William. I mean, he doesn't have to. I mean, and you can't say that because you got to be able to know how to attack the offense. So, I mean, I feel like you definitely got to understand what offense has, you know, how it is attacking your defense. So he has to have like some understanding about the offense. I mean, how can you be a good coordinator? Hey, TJ, do you think Cam and Davis coming back next year? That's a good question. I think the way that Cam Jordan playing this season, yeah, I do. The way that Demario Davis to me just seems like a lifer. He just seemed like, you know, they probably just gonna keep him around for, you know, for a long time. But yeah, I can see both of those guys coming back. But I also see if you're asking me, am I 100% confident that Cam Jordan is coming back? I am not. Not the way that last home game turned out. That last home game turned out like he kind of knows something that we don't. Like you ain't about to invite your entire family down there and just make a big deal out of that. You know, if talks weren't happening behind the scenes or lack of talks are happening behind the scenes. But look, Cam Jordan deserves to finish his career on his own terms. Rather it's, maybe, finishing up with the Saints or going trying to chase after a championship. I just don't understand it. Like Cam Jordan has 130 sacks in his career, 131, I believe, as of right now. And, it'll be unfortunate to see this guy get, missed on year after year for the Hall of Fame. He is a first ballot Hall of Fame, if you ask me. Like they were talking about tiers of pass rushers and stuff like that. And, during the era of Cam Jordan, they had him as like tier 2. I don't understand what people are talking about. This is a guy that has 130 sacks. This is a guy who came from the University of California, was known as just basically like a run defender, right? Be able to set the edge. And he has carved out a career that is a Hall of Fame caliber career. I don't even think it's without question. But we know that sometimes guys, end up getting snubbed because maybe they don't have a Super Bowl, or maybe, they ain't never played in the Super Bowl. It's stuff like that. And I wouldn't want that to happen to Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan, to me, is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he deserves to go out there to try to, go to a team. If the Saints are still trying to figure it out, he deserves to go to a team where he can try to get himself a championship or try to contribute to a championship. So, I mean, regardless of what they do with Cam Jordan, I mean, you got to respect the guy in his career. And I just think that Demario Davis, he's probably more than likely going to be back next year. I think so, Corey. They see where the team is headed and they want a ring. Let's see. They just mad because we found a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, look, the NFC South is nervous. They are, and justifiably so. Like they should be. But I mean, but at the end of the day, this like we seen quarterbacks like hit the league and take the league by storm, and then all of a sudden they kind of just taper off. But hopefully that's just not the case. But they see what Tyler Shough is doing, and they see it. They see the talent, they see the ability, they see the skill set, and he's much better than a lot of people give him credit for. So, yeah, I mean, if Tyler Shough can continue to build on this momentum, if he continues to become like the elite quarterback that it seems like he has the potential to be, then it can be tough for the NFC South if they don't get some quarterbacks off in this thing. TJO, who you think the Saints will love to have in this year's draft? I don't know who the Saints would love, but I can tell you who I would love. Speaking of love, Jeremiah Love. That's who I would love to have on this team, Jeremiah Love. Look, watching that game last night, rather you like, and I'm talking Monday night if you're catching this pre-recordedly. If you're catching it in a form of a pre-recording, there we go. Bijan Robinson, right, on Monday night. Like if you get yourself a really good dynamic running back, he's a difference maker. And Jeremiah Love is a difference maker. And that's what the Saints need. The Saints need offensive difference makers. They need guys that can get yards after the catch. They need guys that can make somebody miss. Several of Bijan Robinson's long runs came off making somebody miss. There was one play where this defender, the interior lineman, had this dude dead to rights. And he just drops off of Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson puts his hand on the ground and just completely explodes through the hole for about 30-some-odd yards, right? I mean, even that 93-yard touchdown, see, that's what you need on your football team, man. I understand, like, okay, people don't really value the running back position like they once did because they feel like it's an expendable position. Okay, man, throw this dude a toss play, throw this dude a screen pass. Like, they feel like, it's an expendable position. But when you have a guy who can really get them yards after the catch, that can create opportunities, get a Derrick Henry who can be a battering ram for you, have a guy like Bijan that can make somebody miss, classic old school throwback AK. I mean, we know there was nothing better than watching Alvin Kamara like go off in a football game, right? There's a reason why, every single Christmas we talk about Alvin Kamara with them red and green cleats on and going for 6 touchdowns, right? It's an amazing thing to watch. So to me, Jeremiah Love kind of fits that same mold. Now, he's not Bijan, but one thing that they share when it comes to like similarities is when Jeremiah Love gets the rock in his hand, he gone. Like, I'm talking about 0 to 100 real quick. And that is what the New Orleans Saints need. So Jeremiah Love, to me, with the Saints picking at number 8, that would be a great addition to this football team. And that would be somebody that can help out Tyler Shough tremendously. Being able to dump the ball down to a guy like Jeremiah Love, making somebody miss, turning probably a gain or 2 into 22, that is what the New Orleans Saints need. The New Orleans Saints need playmakers. They need guys that can catch the ball, get yards after the catch. If it's a wide receiver out there, and right now I'm going through the process of seeing guys who can get that yak, get the yards after the catch, and who has some real strong hands. So I'm kind of going through the draft process right now. Who can be that guy? That's what the New Orleans Saints need. The New Orleans Saints need guys that can create their own plays. Like kind of similar to a Christian McCaffrey, kind of similar to a George Kittle. Make somebody miss. Make somebody miss, man. That's what I'm talking about. TJ, Alvin pretty much done. I don't know if he done or not, man, but he had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years. Let's see. Estimate look good. Yeah, Estimate does look good, but Estimate is not. He's not an every down back. Like he's that guy like you want to have on your team because he runs hard, he plays tough, kind of like that Pierre Thomas type, right? He's not the fastest guy in the world, but if he's on your football team, he's a difference maker, right? That's what Estimate could possibly be. I mean, there are certain running backs to me when they're on your team, they're beneficial. Like Latavius Murray comes to mind. Like Latavius Murray was never going to be the feature back on the team, but he's a guy you put into your lineup, right? And I mean, you give him the ball and he makes some things happen. He leans forward, he gets 3 yards. And that's what Estimate is. Like a lot of what Estimate did on last Sunday versus the Titans was his own doing. And that's what the New Orleans Saints need, especially if they're trying to repair this offensive line. I love Jeremiah Love on this team. Yeah, I would too. I can't say that just yet, TJ. I don't know what you were referring to, Greg. I don't know what we're talking about here. You kind of have to kind of clarify your statement here. I don't know if I missed half of what you were saying or not, but I don't know if you're referring to Jeremiah Love or something else that I said. Jeremiah would be perfect for this team. Alvin has 1 year left on his contract. I'm gonna tell y'all this, okay? Look, for those that are kind of on the fence, let me help y'all out with this. Think about Kellen Moore and think about everywhere that Kellen Moore has been, right? Just for a second. But I do want to acknowledge this $2 donation from Aaron. Aaron says, what do we do with Kendre Miller? Look, Kendre Miller got to stay healthy. And right now, he got to be, I mean, he kind of got to be on a bubble here, because he's not a Kellen Moore guy. And, I think the Saints went into training camp with the intentions of possibly like cutting Kendre Miller. But he played so well and did so many good things that, they decided to keep him on the team. But look, you've been hurt every year of your career. When you had an opportunity to be on the field, you couldn't stay out there because, you weren't picking up the playbook. And then, you started to catch fire and then you get hurt again. So we're talking about a guy who has had 2 ACL injuries in his career. He had it in the semifinals of the college football playoffs when his team, TCU, played against Michigan. And he had one this season. So, when we start talking about ACLs and multiple ACL tears with a running back, kind of tough. So, if he goes into training camp and makes the team again, then great. But I don't think that, I think that time is running out. But back to what I was saying when it comes to Kellen Moore. Let me talk y'all into this whole Jeremiah Love thing, right? For those that I don't know. Think about Kellen Moore's career as a coordinator and think about the guys that he has worked with and how he has utilized the running backs and how effective they've been. Let's start with the Dallas Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott, he was a guy who ran in between the tackles, caught the ball out of the backfield, was extremely productive for the Dallas Cowboys. Then he goes to the Chargers. Austin Eckler has like one of his best seasons as a running back, right? Then he goes to Philly. Saquon Barkley, who was dealing with injuries throughout his career with the Giants, goes to the Philadelphia Eagles, runs for 2,000 yards. I say that to say this, ladies and gentlemen. Kellen Moore knows how to utilize an extremely talented, athletic running back. Plain and simple. If Jeremiah Love was to come to the New Orleans Saints with Kellen Moore calling plays for him, I guarantee you you're going to be excited watching Jeremiah Love play because Kellen Moore knows how to utilize a running back in his scheme. The biggest, I think that the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to Kellen Moore is to believe that he's just a pass-happy type of offensive coordinator. He's a guy that utilizes what he has. If he has a dynamic running back that he can run the ball, he's going to do that. If he has a quarterback but not really a good running game, he's going to throw the football. He utilizes the team the way that it is structured. Like whatever benefits the team, that is what he goes after. So to me, if Jeremiah Love comes on his team with Kellen Moore as the head coach and also coming up with the, calling the plays, it might be pretty damn dynamic. Let's see. The nation got us picking Love, TJ. Well, I'm telling you, man, like Jeremiah Love with the New Orleans Saints would be a key addition. And that's what the New Orleans Saints need. A lot of people thought that the Saints would go after, Ashton Jeanty this past draft. And, like I said, look, the Saints need playmakers. That plain and simple. The Saints are probably going to go offense like probably the majority of the draft, in my opinion, because they see that they got a quarterback that they can build around. So you get yourself a running back along with even if you do bring AK back, look, Alvin Kamara is not one of those guys that like, okay, man, Alvin, look, this is what we're gonna do. Look, we gonna we appreciate what you're doing, but we're gonna split these reps. Alvin not gonna be sitting up there going on, doing press conferences talking about, oh, they need to give me the rock more. He's not even wired like that. Like even I've seen a couple interviews where Alvin was even talking about like sharing the load. So like if you can get somebody like Jeremiah Love up in here and kind of alleviate some of the pressure of Alvin at being 30, 31 years old, if you want to keep him here, that's a really good 1-2 punch. And if you add Devin Neal, as long as them hamstrings can stay under control, I mean, you got yourself a 1-2-3 punch. And if you want to roll with Ultric Estime as a guy that kind of is in and out of the lineup in case somebody gets hurt, like you got yourself a really good, credible running back room. So Jeremiah Love, like to me, over the last couple of weeks, like he has slowly been my pick for the Saints to draft in 2026. I would be excited if the Saints get Jeremiah Love in the first round. You trade Miller, he is talented, but he is also glass. Get a pick if you can. He is a liability. Well, I think he's talented, but the question is, like, what are you going to get for a guy who has been in the league, 3 years, going into the fourth season, has been hurt every single year he's been in the league? Like, what are you going to get for that? Maybe a 6 or 7 round pick. I mean, you're not going to get anything of any significance for that. I don't want to say that, man. I mean, we know that it doesn't matter. Sometimes those 7 round picks can pay dividends for you, 6 round picks, etc. But nobody is going to give you anything of what they consider high value for a guy like Kendre Miller. So we got to put that thing into perspective. But I do agree with you in regards to him being talented. But I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody give you something for him, but it's not going to be anything of, we're going to knock your socks off or anything like that. Yo, TJ, dude, have you heard Drew Brees is among former team players has finalized on 2026 Hall of Fame? I'll be surprised to see like that. Well, look, yeah, I seen the Jeremiah, and in other news, it's dark outside because I'm doing the show at night. I'm a black man. I mean, man, come on, man. I mean, we all knew that. We all knew that Drew Brees was going to, be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like this is about as a sure thing as you possibly can get. Like I'm so sure about this. Like if Saints fans want to book tickets to Canton, Ohio right now, just go ahead and do it. Like there is no way, no how that Drew Brees will be passed up in a Hall of Fame. Like we might as well just make this thing a foregone conclusion. Now they need to put my boy Jari Evans up in that thing. Like this is getting ridiculous. They should have put him in last year. It would have been great to see Jari Evans in the Super Bowl in the Hall of Fame in New Orleans. Would have been great to see Cam Jordan win Walter Payton Man of the Year. They kind of set it up. And, you know, they put Drew Brees out there, Steve Gleason. I'm thinking, oh, snap, man. Cam Jordan about to win. Drew Brees is the first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, go ahead and get your tickets booked right now. You know, I see y'all boys in Canton. I'm going to try to get out there, man. I'm trying to get out there to Canton, Ohio for the Hall of Fame game, man. That is something like that. That's a foregone conclusion. You might well go ahead and book your tickets. But go on book them tickets right now, man, while you can get them for the cheap. For real. Because you know that Drew Brees is going to the Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. Plus, we have a 10 defense. We are picking offense all day. Well, man, you still got to get some defensive players, man. Unless they're going to, like, try to, you know, add some defensive players through a free agency or something like that. But I think it's going to be an offensively heavy draft. The Saints got to make sure the Chiefs don't move up in the draft and take Love because their fans are drooling over him. Well, look, man, I don't care. Look, that would suck. And it would be yet again the Chiefs jumping up to get something that the Saints, could have had. And the rest is history. We know about the whole 2017 draft with Patrick Mahomes, where the Saints were going to draft Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs jumped up and got him, a spot before the Saints did. Look, we know about that. But at the end of the day, look, I don't think the Saints are worried about draft positioning right now. It would be great to have Jeremiah Love, but I don't think the Saints are looking at it to, like we need to lose to the Falcons and we need to be watching the Chiefs. Like if I think the Chiefs play the Raiders, I think they're gonna be all right. I mean, look, the Raiders done send Max Crosby home. Like they out there basically calling. Y'all ever play like Madden and you wanted the computer to score, so you call like a special teams field goal block? That's how the Raiders play. Everybody rushing the quarterback and wide receiver wide open. Like that, like the Raiders want that number one pick. They are all in on the Fernando Mendoza sweepstakes. All right. I mean, they watching the college football playoff, just hoping Mendoza stays healthy. And they in that sweepstakes. So they gonna be all right. All right. I think the Chiefs are gonna win the football game. The Raiders done said Cancun on 3 about 7 weeks ago. What, they done lost 11 straight games. And like I said, the way that they playing right now, man, they understand the assignment. They understand the assignment. So I'm not concerned about that at all. I'm gonna go ahead and take a few more, and then we'll go ahead and get up out of here. I swear, if Drew Brees is not going draft first ballot Hall of Famer, then I'm quitting watching. Man, Dalton, look. If Drew Brees is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, I'm gonna start watching football. I don't plan on watching football anytime soon, so I already know. This is about as sure of a thing that you can possibly get. Like when they say, "Oh, he a finalist," like, come on, man. Like it's just like some players is like, man, you just might as well just go ahead and just state the obvious. But, you got to give him his moment in this time where, the head of the Hall of Fame committee comes and knocks on his hotel room door and all that kind of stuff, or show up at his house. But look, man, just tell Drew Brees don't go too far, man, because the Hall of Fame committee going to be at his door in the next couple of days. Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald lock first ballot Hall of Fame without a doubt, man. And let's put Jari Evans in there. Enough is enough. He's been a finalist for the last couple of years. Let's get Jari Evans and Drew Brees off in that thing. I will still watch football just because. Well, look, I don't think you have to worry about that, Jerry. You ain't got to worry about that. Because Drew Brees is a first ballot Hall of Famer all the freaking way. I meant enter first ballot. Sorry, messed up. I understand what you meant. I understand what you meant. But yeah, man, that's about as sure as a sure thing can be right there, man. Book y'all tickets to Canton, man, while y'all can get them for the cheap. Go on Priceline, get a deal, probably. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Thank you to all of you that stuck around from beginning to the end. I ask that you hit the like button. If you enjoy the State of the Saints podcast, if you enjoy the content, I want to say Happy New Year to all the people out there, right? I mean, we're one day away from a new year, last day of 2025, man. And look, count your blessings, ladies and gentlemen. Count your blessings. There's a lot of people that started this year with us, didn't make it. right? So I mean, it's a blessing to be at this point, and you know, I'm extremely blessed to be able to do a show like this every single week, to chop it up with some of the most loyal people and loyal Saints fans in the entire world. And I really do appreciate you all for the love and support, rocking with your boy from the beginning of the year to the end and throughout the years. I really do appreciate it. You can follow me on X at TJAYJones8. Right. You can also check out the NFC South Roundtable every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Check out the most recent episode that we did on this Tuesday. If you're watching this live, we did it on tonight. So make sure you check that out. And make sure you check out previous episodes here of the State of the Saints podcast. Till next time, all I got to say is Merry New Year! Merry New Year!
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who dat?